Have you ever found yourself thinking, I just want to get back to who I used to be? Maybe you want your old body back, your old energy. Maybe you miss the dreams you once had, the life you had, the person you thought you were going to become. And sometimes we don't even realize how much energy we're spending trying to go backward, trying to get back to the person we were before life changed, before our bodies changed, before we got hurt, before we became disappointed, before we realized that some of the things weren't going to turn out the way we thought they would. And I understand that. There are versions of ourselves that we miss. But lately, I've been thinking, what if some of the suffering comes from believing that we're supposed to get back to who we used to be? What if you're not supposed to go backwards? What if you're becoming someone new? Today I want to talk about 4 strange and sometimes painful experiences of changing, and why you may not be lost at all. Maybe you're just being asked to stop trying to return to someone you've already outgrown. Number 4, we keep looking backward because the past feels familiar. There's something comforting about the person we used to be. We know her. We know what she wanted. We remember what her life looked like. And even if we weren't completely happy back then, at least it was familiar. The future, on the other hand, can feel uncertain. We don't know who we're becoming yet. And sometimes we would rather return to something that no longer fits than step into something we can't fully see. We start asking questions like, how do I get back to where I was? How do I get my old body back? How do I become motivated again? How do I find the old version of myself? But maybe the answer isn't always to go back. Because the truth is, life changes us. Some of those changes are painful. Some happen slowly. And some happen so quietly that one day we suddenly look around and realize, I don't want what I used to want anymore. And that can be confusing. Because if you spent years knowing who you were supposed to be, what happens when you no longer feel like that person? Maybe we don't need to rush to fix that feeling. Maybe we can simply acknowledge that we're changing. And maybe that's not a problem. Number 3, your past self doesn't have to be the standard. I think one of the hardest things we do to ourselves is use a previous version of ourselves as the standard we have to live up to. We compare ourselves to who we were at 25, or 35, or 5 years ago. We compare our energy, our motivation, our bodies, our accomplishments. We look at old pictures and think, why don't I look like that anymore? We remember the things we used to do and think, why can't I do that now? And sometimes that comparison becomes its own form of pressure. We're constantly trying to prove that we're still the person we used to be. But why? You're allowed to change. You're allowed to need different things now. You're allowed to have a different body, a different pace, different priorities, different dreams. The person you were before may have been wonderful, but that doesn't mean she's the only version of you who gets to be valuable. And I think that's something we forget. We can honor who we used to be without making her the destination. You don't have to become her again. Number 2, instead of asking who you were, ask who you're becoming. I think one of the most interesting questions we can ask ourselves is not, how do I get back to who I used to be, but who am I becoming? And I know that can be difficult because we may not know the answer yet. But maybe we don't need to. Maybe becoming isn't something we can simply control. We live. We experience things. We lose things. We learn. We change. And little by little we become someone shaped by the life we've lived. There is something very freeing about letting yourself be curious instead of demanding answers. Maybe you don't need to know exactly who you are becoming. Maybe you just need to start paying attention. What matters to you now? What are you drawn toward? What no longer feels important? What kind of life feels good to you now? And maybe some of those answers will surprise you. Because sometimes we hold on to old dreams simply because we think we're supposed to, not because we actually want them anymore. We keep chasing an old vision of success, an old idea of who we thought we would become. But you're allowed to change your mind. You're allowed to want a quieter life, a simpler life, a slower life. You're allowed to want something completely different than you wanted 10 years ago. That's not giving up. That's listening. Number 1, you can meet yourself where you are. Maybe this is where the softer approach begins. Not by forcing yourself to become someone, not by creating another plan to fix yourself, not by trying to recreate the past, but by meeting yourself where you are, the energy you have now, the body you have now, the life you have now, the questions you have now. What would happen if you stopped asking yourself to be someone else for just a little while? What if you stopped measuring your life against an old photograph? What if you stopped trying to rush through the uncomfortable middle of being? You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to know exactly where you're going. And you don't have to become who you used to be. Maybe your job right now is simply to get to know who you are becoming. And I think that's especially important when life feels uncertain. Because uncertainty doesn't always mean you're going in the wrong direction. Sometimes it means you're standing between one version of yourself and another. And that space can feel strange. You may feel a little lost there, but maybe you aren't lost. Maybe you're just no longer who you were and not quite sure who you're becoming yet. And maybe that's okay. You don't have to rush to fill that space. You don't have to force an answer. You can simply live your life, pay attention, and allow yourself to change. Because maybe you aren't supposed to return to who you were. Maybe there's nothing behind you that you need to chase. Maybe there's something ahead of you that you haven't met yet. And she doesn't need you to have everything figured out. She just needs you to stop fighting the fact that you're changing. So if you've been missing the person you used to be, I hope you can be gentle with yourself. You can appreciate her. You can thank her for bringing you here, but you don't have to become her again. You don't have to go backward. You're allowed to become someone new. And maybe, just maybe, you're not lost. You're changing. Welcome to the softer way.